guys. I'm Hellhound. Welcome to my Midnight Spook Show. I just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp earlier today, and overall, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was probably just about as good as the first movie, Ant-Man, of course. You know, it's the newest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the 20th film, I believe, in that franchise. So, wow, 20 movies. Wow, it's it's pretty damn good. And this one is definitely one of the better ones for sure. You know, I really like Paul Rudd, you know, who plays Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man. You know, he was Tommy Doyle in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. So I always like him. I think he did a good job as Ant-Man. But it's just me, or does it seem like he tries to imitate Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool a little bit in this one? I don't know. Maybe just my imagination. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like thinking about Deadpool while I was watching this. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it was a good movie. You know, he teams up with Hope Van Dyne, the daughter of Hank Pym, who becomes the Wasp. So there's two of them. You know, him and his partner, which is cool. So they both fight crime together and do awesome stuff. You know, I really liked the first Ant-Man, and you know, I thought it was something different for a superhero movie. I thought it was very unique. It was something we haven't seen a whole lot of. You know, I love movies where somebody shrinks and gets really tiny, and you know, and the world around them becomes so big, even though, you know, like the little, like things that are little to us become huge to them. I think that's always interesting. Like, you know, The Incredible Shrinking Man, and of course, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and stuff like that. So it's cool to see in a superhero movie, and we haven't seen a movie like that in a while. So I think the special effects, in order to do that sort of thing, somebody shrinking, becoming really tiny, and you know, everything around them becoming bigger, hasn't really been done in a while. And so I think the special effects is really looks good now. I'm glad they're doing stuff like that again. And it's cool to have a superhero who can shrink and become miniature and then grow and become really giant as well. I think that'd be a cool power to have for sure. You know, of course, the Wasp, you know, she can fly and then shoot. You know, like laser type things, sort of. You know, I guess to stun her enemies. Michael Douglas returns as Hank Pym. And now, when I was growing up, the comics I read, there was always Hank Pym as Ant-Man and his wife Janet Van Dyne as the Wasp. But now I'm kind of glad they did it this way. Hank Pym and Janet are older, you know, and Scott Lang's the new Ant-Man, and of course, Hank Pym's daughter, Hope Pym, or Hope Van Dyne in the movies, is now the Wasp. So I'm kind of glad they did it that way. Michelle Pfeiffer plays Janet Van Dyne, had a very small part in very brief cameo in the last movie, but I don't know who played her. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't even think we should have seen outside her costume. So it's pretty cool. I think it's Michelle Pfeiffer's second comic book movie, of course, after Batman Returns, where she played Catwoman. I believe, I'm not mistaken. I don't think she was in any other comic book movies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if she was, I can't think of them at the moment. So she's one of the various actors who've been in both the DC and Marvel film, which is cool. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this movie. The plot gets really complicated, so it's still easy to follow, but there's a lot going on. Scott Lang is on probation for, you know, what he did during the events of Captain America: Civil War, when he became Giant Man for the first time. I always liked Giant Man in the comics, but I always thought it was cooler when it was Ant-Man, when he got really tiny, you know, Hank Pym in the comics, as part of the Avengers and stuff. Yeah, he's on probation, you know, watched over by the FBI, he's on house arrest, and then there's a new villain called Ghost. She's okay, you know, she's no Loki or Thanos, you know. I kind of like Darren Cross, aka Yellow Jacket, the villain of the first Ant-Man movie. You know, he wasn't one of the better villains, but, you know, he wasn't one of the worst either. The Marvel MCU has kind of had weak villains, you know, overall, other than, like, Thanos, Loki, maybe Red Skull, Abomination, and a few others. Most of the villains have been kind of lame and forgettable and kind of predictable. But I'd say Ghost was okay. You know, her backstory was, she was kind of sympathetic and a little bit, you know, you kind of felt bad for her, but at the same time, she was so selfish and she kept getting in the way. That was definitely rooting against her. I was definitely rooting for the heroes, of course. But anyway, yeah, so we had that going on. She was trying to, she was in their way. She was an obstacle. She was trying to steal some of Hank Pym's tech to help her with her own ailments. By the way, this review might contain some minor spoilers. I'm not going to give away anything major. I'm not going to spoil the ending or anything. But I'm going to talk about the story a little bit. So if you haven't seen the movie already, I might have very minor spoilers. But anyway, yeah, so there's that going on. Then there's also these guys led by that one guy who played a cop in House of a Thousand Corpses. His name escapes me at the moment. He's after Hank Pym's tech as well. And there's another subplot with one of Hank's old associates, Bill Foster, played by Lawrence Fishburne, another veteran horror actor from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, one of my favorite movies ever, and of course a shitload of other movies he was in. He's kind of a big star now, so yeah, it's cool seeing Lawrence Fishburne. So yeah, that's going on. There's a lot going on, and all the while they're trying to do. Hank and Hope and Scott are just trying to look for Hope's mother, Hank's wife, Janet Van Dyne, who was the Wasp in the comic. So they're trying to look for her mother. I just wanted to root for them to see them succeed on that, but all this other things going on with Ghost and that guy the guy wants to get his hands on Hank's technology, and Scott Lang's on house arrest. He's trying to make it look like he's still at home, and there's the FBI after him. There's all kinds of things going on. The plot's pretty complicated, but as I said, it's not too complex. It's not like too hard to follow or anything. You'll understand what's going on, but there's just a lot going on. I think some of it could have got cut out. But anyway, that's the basic plot. Yeah, if you if you get the gist of it. I will say a common complaint about the Marvel movies is that there's like a little bit too much comedy. There's way too much humor, not enough serious moments. Now, this movie had a lot of comedy. Some of the jokes were hit or miss. I thought it was funny, but at the same time, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of overkill. I always thought that Scott Lang's friends, that fat guy with who's always talking like this, and hey man, and yeah, I always thought they were funny, but they're kind of annoying. And I think they kind of went too far, like a little bit, like talking about oatmeal and desks and God knows what else. And like I feel like there were serious situations that gave way for more comedy. So I think the comedy was a little overblown in this one. A lot of people criticize the MCU for that, but I think most of all, most of the movies have been able to balance it pretty well, the humor and the action and the serious scenes. This one had a lot of comedy, and a lot of it flowed out of place. A lot of it got kind of distracting. There was a lot of humor in this, and some of it was kind of stupid. Like, some of it kind of made me groan. I was rolling my eyes and cringing more than once, mostly with Scott's friends. I mean, come on, they're just there for the jokes. Like, they're literally, and I feel like I hated when they kept finding more ways to put them back in the movie when they really weren't needed, Like, why did they have to be the ones to defeat this certain group of bad guys? And, like, why did they have to keep coming back into the story, like, forced, shoehorned in there just to make more jokes? Again, I'm not really criticizing. I'm just saying they could have balanced the humor a little better. I mean, I like that these movies are funny. I think comic book movies should have a certain level of humor. They should be overly dark and serious and gritty and overly realistic and have a brooding, depressing, morose tone like some of the DC movies. But they should be able to, have a steady balance as well. It shouldn't be overblown, too much comedy, and the serious scene shouldn't give way to more comedy. They shouldn't end a serious scene with a joke. I think it just doesn't fit. And yeah, the comedy was a little out of place in this movie, I gotta say. Some of the situations were a little too silly. But again, I liked all the characters. Of course, Michael Douglas is great as Hank Pym, an older Hank Pym. In the comics, he became kind of abusive, he became kind of a crappy character. He became kind of a scumbag. So I think that's the reason why they made Scott Lang Ant-Man, the main Ant-Man, instead of Hank Pym. But we actually got to see Hank Pym in the suit a few times, so it's cool seeing him as the real Ant-Man actually being Ant-Man in a movie. I thought that was awesome. This movie does take place before Infinity War, by the way, so if you're wondering about that, if you're wondering if, the whole thing that happened, I won't spoil the ending of Infinity War, but the big event that happened at the end of Infinity War didn't take place till after this movie. So, and yeah, don't worry, they get to it. They reference that too. So obviously, I mean, they have to acknowledge the continuity has to fit in there somewhere. So, anyway, what else? This is probably my fourth favorite movie that I've seen in theaters this year so far, next to Infinity War, Deadpool 2, and Incredibles 2. Yeah, I liked it better than Solo. I liked it better than Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I'm still can't wait to see Venom, and which I'm a little worried about. I'm a little weary on that one. I'm worried that I'm going to hate it. But I'm going to see it, and hopefully I'll enjoy it. I'm also can't wait to see Aquaman, which is going to be the next installment of the DC Extended Universe. And a few, I think maybe a couple other movies I really want to see this year. Halloween, of course, which stupid title. I just need to give it a proper title, but it's the new Halloween movie with Michael Myers. But anyway, yeah, all in all, this movie is good. I'd say check it out. I recommend it. I think it's a worthy installment in the MCU. I think they're still doing great. I think they're still on top. They're still on fire. It's not like one of the big event movies. It's not like, it's kind of more a smaller scale, But you know, I think it's cool. There's a lot of really awesome things to see in this movie. Great special effects, good eye candy, characters growing really huge and then becoming really, really tiny, and you know, all kinds of cool things. Now, there was a few things that I thought, you know, were a little far-fetched, a little too surreal. I mean, you know, obviously growing huge and shrinking isn't realistic, but that's what these movies are about. There's a few other things, some things involving the quantum realm and some other things that are a little too surreal. Like, I thought, oh wow, really, like, they found a really weird way for them to discover a certain something about Janet Van Dyne. You know, they discovered... You know, why isn't she Janet Pym? Whatever, who cares? But yeah, they discovered something about her in a very weird way, and then further on in the movie, I won't spoil it, but there's a certain ability that somebody has that I thought was a little out there. I was like, and it wasn't explained very well. But it's cool seeing all this technology, it's cool seeing all these things happen, things growing really giant, and you know, the entire building is becoming tight, so small you can hold in their hand, and cars turning into the size of like Matchbox cars, you know, little, you know, I think that's pretty cool. Again, yeah, so great eye candy, great visuals, some great action, some great fight scenes. Again, the villain was, you know, a Ghost, I guess. She was kind of underwhelming, you know, I didn't really, you know, she wasn't one of the better villains for sure. And again, the MCU needs some better villains. We need to introduce some. We need to have Doctor Doom and Magneto and the Green Goblin, and come on, get some better villains. We got Thanos and Loki and, you know, some of the others who are awesome, of course, but come on, we need to see some. We've seen a lot of the best heroes done very well. We need to see some of the best villains. And there's still a lot of heroes that we need to see, too. Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, of course the X-Men, because I'm so tired of like a lot of focus being on boring characters that I don't care about, that I didn't read about much in the comics, and then some of the better, more interesting characters being thrown aside, being brushed aside, and just being, you know, given minimal screen time. I'm not okay with that. So there's a lot of things that MCU needs to change, you know. And I might as well go ahead and say right here, I want to see the black-suited Spider-Man done before Venom. So they already fucked that up. It's almost like they're not good enough to do the black-suited Spider-Man, because that would be so awesome. The leader, they need to do the leader. They set him up. They did a real proper Mandarin after Iron Man 3 almost screwed that up. And a few other things. We need to see that damn Fantastic Four already. Again, I know that's not their fault. Again, sorry, I just had to rant for a minute. I'm not criticizing the MCU, I just had to go off a little tangent because thinking about that stuff just makes me so mad because I've been waiting so long to see all these characters interact with each other, and I feel like they're going in certain directions that they shouldn't be going yet. And there's certain things that should have been done differently, and there's things that I really want to see like before other things that I feel like I've seen too much of. But anyway, just had to rant for a minute. Let's go back to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I apologize. Sorry going off on that tangent. Yeah, again, this movie is good. I liked it. You know, it was one of the better movies I've seen this year. Not one of the best, but definitely not one of the worst. Yeah, great action, great special effects, great characters. Again, yeah, I did kind of think that Paul Rudd imitated Ryan Reynolds of Deadpool a little bit. Again, I don't know. Maybe that was my imagination. I don't know, but I don't know. It just seemed, I don't know. Certain things about his character, certain things he said, and the way they said him kind of felt reminiscent of Deadpool. Again, maybe it was all in my head, I don't know. But yeah, Hope, she was a good character. They're all good, you know. Acting-wise, they're all very well done, very well acted. His friends, again, they kind of got on my nerves a little bit, but I can see why they're there. More comic relief, mainly, but, you know, they were integral to the plot, too. They helped out a lot. You know, they helped save the day, which was good, I guess. But, yeah, some really, really cool effect shots. Giant Ant-Man, Giant Man, I guess. Scott Lang coming out of the ocean when he's, you know, huge in his costume. I think that looked really cool. A lot of really cool shots like that. You know, giant ants and, you know, stuff like that. It'd be cool to have the ability to control insects as well. They can control ants, so that's yet another ability he has, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, it was very good. It felt like a genuine Ant-Man movie. Some of the other MCU movies felt like they were just 2-hour-long previews for the next Avengers film, or certain focus was taken away from the main characters to focus on other characters already introduced because they weren't confident enough in making a movie about that character without having another veteran character from the MCU being the main focus. I won't say which one I'm talking about. I think you probably already know. But anyway, all in all, I recommend it. Go see it. And I also got to say, the Stan Lee cameo in this one was among one of the most hilarious ones I've ever seen. That got a chuckle out of me. Some of the jokes fell flat, and I was just like groaning, but that one was really funny. And there was another one that actually did involve Scott Lang's friends. towards the end that I thought was really funny too. So yeah, a lot of the jokes really worked. A lot of the humor was good, but some of it was kind of unwelcome and went on a little too long. But all in all, it was a good, fun movie. You know, nothing too amazing. You know, but mostly a fun popcorn movie. You know, a big budget blockbuster to take your mind off of everyday life. You know, for a good 2 hours. You know, so but you know, isn't going to change your life. But I guarantee you'll have a blast while watching it too. I haven't read any other reviews for this movie. I haven't watched anybody's thoughts on them on YouTube or anything. I haven't heard one person say anything about this movie yet. So nobody's swayed my opinion. Nobody's pointed out anything that made me think, oh, yeah. So it's totally my own thoughts coming fresh from my mind, fresh out of the theater, with no distractions. I haven't read any other reviews or anything. So this is totally my thoughts, you know, with nothing to, not that I'm ever manipulated by reading a review or anything, but sometimes somebody points out something, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, you've got a good point. That's something that wasn't, you know, was good or wasn't good about the movie. So sometimes that happens. Sometimes somebody kind of points out something and makes me realize it. But overall, usually I always have my own opinion. So overall, but anyway, go see Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's definitely a welcome addition to the MCU. Not one of the best, but not one of the worst for sure. And I think Ant-Man's a great character. But why did Ant-Man get a sequel? And why isn't the Hulk got another movie again? Make another Hulk movie, damn it! Come on, MCU, make another Hulk movie. Ooh, make me so mad with certain decisions. But they're still awesome. Still love the MCU. It's still amazing. Probably the best cinematic universe ever. You know. So I still have high hopes for anything they're about to do. Just should have did a black suited Spider-Man before we got a Venom movie, but they already blew it. So no use dwelling on it now. All right, guys. I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching. Long live Marvel Comics. Long live the MCU. This is yet another hit. Another addition to their lengthy filmography, and they're still doing great. Still delivering the goods. So go see it. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, guys. Sorry for the rant. Sorry for all the rambling and the tangents, but I gotta go. Until next time. See you later. I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching.